The Long Walk, a dystopian horror thriller that fits outside Stephen King's multiverse as a Richard Bachman title, was long considered unfilmable. The project had gone through a litany of attached directors, all incredibly notable. George Romero had pursued a film version in the late 1980s. Frank Darabont, whose films The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, and The Mist are among King's best adaptations, held the rights for years before his option eventually expired. Andre Øvredal was later attached, but that too fizzled out. How do you make a novel about a murderous group cardio feel interesting? Cue director Francis Lawrence, whose experience helming most of the Hunger Games franchise, shows an aptitude for shooting teenage death games with flair, dramatic heft, and emotion. The Long Walk's steadfast focus on the lives and emotions of the walkers themselves is an exceptional choice, allowing the film to be tense, moving, and complex. It's one of the best horror movies of the year, leaving an impact that will last long after the credits roll.
What is The Long Walk about? King's impressive literary output has created some of the most interesting supernatural threats in modern literature, from I.T.'s Pennywise the Dancing Clown and El Coco in The Outsider, to the creatures of The Mist and The Shining's Overlook Hotel. Alongside a stunning supernatural bestiary, there's an equally skillful emphasis on the evils that humans perpetuate that runs throughout his work, from the fanatical Mrs. Carmody to the unhinged Jack Torrance or Percy Wetmore in The Green Mile. The Long Walk, King's first written novel, fits squarely with this tradition as a decidedly poignant exploration of the very human evils of authoritarian society. The Long Walk takes place in a dystopian United States, where a past war has reportedly sent the United States into hard economic times. The U.S. rulers have since created the Long Walk, an annual walking contest where one young man from each of the 50 states walks continuously, maintaining 3 miles per hour until they're the last one alive. The winner receives both incredible amounts of money and any single wish their heart desires. This year's batch of sacrifices includes Ray Garrity, the optimistic Peter McVries, the militantly prepared Stebbins, the rough-edged Gary Barkovich, and others, all marching under the watchful eye of the Major.
Incredible central performances ground The Long Walk.
There are numerous reasons why a successful adaptation of The Long Walk might be difficult to accomplish. It's grim, and the setting is monotonous without the flourishes that novels make possible. That could be a recipe for disaster in a feature film. But thanks to smart directorial choices from Lawrence and J.T. Molnar's stellar script, the film punctuates the Strider's own Long Walk with emotion, camaraderie, conflict, and fleshed-out characters. Cooper Hoffman evolves before our eyes as protagonist Ray Garrity, determined, complex, a little belligerent, and relatable, with Hoffman exhibiting a strong display of wide-ranging emotions in an impressive and memorable outing. As co-protagonist Peter McVries, David Jonsson is a showstopper, determined to see the light in the darkness and pivotal in cementing Garrity, McVries, Hank Olson, and Arthur Baker into the Musketeers. Jonsson's ability to deliver heartfelt speeches with earnest flair makes for some of the film's most moving moments, and his chemistry with Hoffman establishes a moving core throughout the film. For their part, Wang's Hank Olson is perpetually charming, while there's a genuineness in U.S. portrayal of Arthur Baker that makes key moments in the finale truly heartbreaking. Charlie Plummer delivers a fine half-antagonist role, egging on the protagonists while ultimately proving as complex and scared as the rest of the endangered youths. Mark Hamill is menacing as their stern, cold cardio overseer/antagonist, the Major. In Hamill's hands, the Major is precisely a man you never want to see. Humanity hidden behind a large set of shades with a chilling disregard for humanity and suffering. The Long Walk's many deaths are shot with a brutal realism that often shocks as much as real gunshots do. Loud, quick, ugly deaths surrounded by uncomfortably realistic performances. It's particularly effective here because of the dedicated amount of time we spend with these characters, combined with the caliber of their performances. These elements make The Long Walk as much of an effective horror film as it is a stunning meditation on how we deal with complex topics like death, authoritarianism, injustice, and trauma. The kids don't take the danger seriously until the first death. They encourage each other, dream, rebel, and plan. The deaths, horrors, and emotional moments all land well thanks to a greater focus on the kids' responses to dystopian terrors than on those terrors themselves, creating one of the year's finest horror films.
The Long Walk is one of the era's best and most heartbreaking horror films.
Converting a group of teens and young adults into murder fodder has long been one of the horror genre's most recognizable tropes, often intended as sources of carnage for cool horror antagonists more than fleshed-out characters. That's far from true in The Long Walk, and the film's all the better for it. Here, the characters aren't just humanized, we spend ample time watching them build relationships, forge rivalries, and trauma bond together, making the deaths mean more, and therefore inducing a greater sense of dread and sorrow in the audience. Between that and an extraordinary cast delivering exceptional performances, The Long Walk exceeds even optimistic expectations to easily become one of the best Stephen King adaptations. The Long Walk marches into theaters on Friday, September 12th.